All right, y'all. New project. This is my garden area. It's currently bigger than it's ever been. And we've had many successful gardens here over the years. I had some raised garden beds in here in the past. There was 3 of them. And they were made out of some wood. Actually, here's a piece. They were made out of some old treated wood that I had. These are old concrete forms. We painted them brown, we put them together, and they lasted a few years, but they just started falling apart, and the wife said they had to go and it was time for something new. She told me she wants a 16-foot by 8-foot raised bed. She's going to plant strawberries in it. She wants to be able to, she figures she can reach into 4 feet to get to the middle. I'm not going to argue with her. She wants 16 by 8 feet. She's going to get 16 by 8. But first things first, I'm going to have to do a little bit of grade work. And I'm going to pull some of that dirt there, because that's the dirt that was in our raised beds. And she likes that it's all part of the garden, but she wants the taper a little better. I was all right, I can do that. So I'm going to start by dragging all that little high spot there back into the garden and trying to get one level grade, hopefully 16 foot by 8 foot. So I will keep adding to this video as we go. Thank you for checking it out, and you're going to get to see my garden grow. Well, all right, there's a good start on that. I left a couple of piles of dirt if I got to do a little raking here and there, because I haven't checked it yet. And it might be a little high in the middle, but I just need my 4 edges to be good. I'm going to fill the middle in with dirt immediately, so there's no worries about the middle being high. And like I said, I'll get the big level out and I'll check the perimeter, and once I know that's good, then I'll just have to keep working on tapering this hill back down into the garden, which I can do that with the drag and the tractor and all that. Do a little bit of work with this guy yet, but we're off to a great start. Well, it is day 2, and I am doing pretty well. It's a little hot out here today, and I might have got sunburnt yesterday running around with no t-shirt in the first sunny day of the year. But this is coming along well. I've got my 2x4s on, and I stood the panels up, and I got my 8-footers cut, and I pretty well have all 4 sides level. When you step back and look at it, it looks pretty good. I'm not 100% sure that it's square right now. I'll be checking that shortly. And then I'm gonna begin adding my braces. And I haven't fully figured out how I'm gonna brace it yet. I'm still pondering that in my head. I was actually thinking of a couple of uprights on each of the long walls, and then tying them across, and then burying all that just so it can't blow out. I also considered putting some cables in from the top of this side to the bottom of the other side. And I haven't decided. I'm not that far yet. I don't have to worry about bracing. I still got to get the rest of the main structure built, get my other 2 pieces of steel on, and get these corners bent over and screwed down. So yeah, I will be adding more wood as I go, and just doing whatever it takes to make this thing nice and strong. But I'm off to a great start. Well, apparently leaving the hammock out all winter long is not a good option. It was hanging from this tree, folded in half. I just untwisted it, unfolded it, got in it, and I made it like 3 minutes. Then I felt a little tear, and I thought, oh, well, this one's done. I'll just be careful. And then it was all over. Ow. Have a great day. I guess my break's over. It was right next to my project, so I thought, hey, I'll take a quick break in the hammock and look at my phone. Whoops. All right, day 3. Got a little bit more done on it. I just finished putting my sides on. I got my braces in, my tops of my sides screwed. I still have to screw the bottoms. I started to wrap that corner. I just got it set back in and made sure it's level still. So it's coming right along. Like I said, I've got a lot of reinforcing braces to add. And I needed to make sure it was level again before I screwed that bottom in, because a lot of things can, you can change how it sits twisted wise. And once I screw that in, then it's going to be locked in. So, coming right along. Checking with you in a bit. Well, unless I talk myself out of it, I think I'm ready for dirt. I honestly decided not to add too many braces inside. The way the rib goes, it's not going to crush down. The corners, this piece of steel wraps a foot over. It's screwed top and bottom, so that's holding this joint together stronger than anything I'm going to put on the inside. And if I add a piece of wood to the inside to add more screws, I'm just putting more splits in the wood by adding screws so close to the end. So there's more strength engineered into that wrapped corner than anything else. You'll also notice it bows in right now. That is intentional. I have ran a wire from the bottom of this side up to the top of this side, from the bottom of this side up to the top of this side. Then I put a couple twists in them to put some preload, and you can see there's still some bends. The bottoms are both loose. I ran the stake in the ground, and then I went from the middle down to the stake, and I wrapped all that together. Now when I fill this full of dirt, you won't be able to pull the bottom in. And in order for that top side to lean out, it's going to have to pull the wire tight and pull that bottom in. And as you can see, there's some slack in the wires, which is why I put that little bit of bow, that little bit of preload in there, because I know the force is going to push that straight again. And if something happens and it gets a little bit out of whack, I'll have to dig a couple holes down, put a couple more wires in, dig a hole in the middle and twist it up. I'll be able to do that when it's full of dirt. I'll just dig out an area to work, put my extra braces in, fill it back in with dirt. It's not going to happen over time. It'll happen right away when it does. So, and then this side has just a little bit of bow, so there isn't that much preload. And then the short sides didn't want to stick out near as far, so I didn't pull them in very much. And they're tied together there, and of course all the dirt and everything on top is just going to help. That stake is pretty much in the ground just so it can't untwist. And then I wrapped everything together with that other wire, so again it can't untwist. So galvanized double smooth wire for electric fence. It's been around for years. I had it as a brand new roll. I've made several fences with it. I just actually went and cut this out of a fence so I'd have it. And it's not going to rot away anytime soon. So there it is. Before I pulled that all out of whack, it was perfectly level all the way around. I was pretty much between the lines all the way around. When you stand back at a distance and get down, it looks nice and level front to back, left to right, side to side. So I'm hoping when I get some dirt in, it'll push that bow back out. I'm pretty positive it's gonna. So, and if it doesn't, most of the bows on the back, you're not gonna see that from my house. All right. Now, with a planer this size, you need a lot of dirt. I could go get a bunch of crap. Guys will fill these things with anything, cement. I've even heard of old tires. Old tires would be great. I got a lot of them. But how do you fill the voids? You know, you're constantly going to be dealing with sinkholes, and I don't want to deal with that. What I do have is some piles where when I used to have my cows and my ponies, I'd feed them round bales, and I'd move the round bales all around. And then, of course, they leave a big mess of uneaten hay and poop. and I would just get the skid steer out and I would push those into piles. So I have probably 3 or 4 of those round bale piles, which is honestly going to be good composted poop and hay and dirt. And I'm going to make that be my bottom layer. It kills 2 birds with 1 stone. It gets all of those piles I don't know what to do with out of my yard and fills this up. And it's gonna have some good nutrients to it as well. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna get the gator out, get the mini walked over to the first pile, start loading the gator, backing in over here and dumping dirt. I'll keep in touch as I go. Well, slight height issue. I might try to put my car ramps here. Then I can back up and be able to rake it right out or dump right out. I gotta try something because it's gonna take a whole lot of those to fill that up. And if I gotta throw it up 6 inches every time, I'm not gonna be super happy with that. So the old gator don't look like much, but she has been an animal, and I have done so much work with that thing over the years. So let's go get the car ramps, try again. Well, I went and got the ramps, but that didn't work. I could get up on them, but I was afraid that I was going to back over them. It doesn't have a parking brake, so it wouldn't stay up there once I got them up there. And if I back over and hit this wall, I'm just going to destroy it. So I have a plan for before I do the next trip. I'm going to add some stuff to my bed that will hopefully make it just up high enough. And then I'm going to turn these boards, because now I'm sunk down in a little bit here. So I just need a few inches. So I'm thinking a 2x4 and a piece of plywood. That'll let me haul more dirt, and the plywood will stick up. And then I'll just back up and rake it in. And then a couple of planks under there. If I get a couple inches on the top, a couple inches on the bottom, I should get it high enough to get it over the side. But for now, I'm going to shovel. I'll just pretend I'm in a creek today, I guess. Alright, second attempt was much better. I didn't even stay on the boards I put down. But, what I did was I added a little sheet of plywood in there. And it's on top of a couple 2x4s for strength. And, I mean, I could probably try to dump a little, but I'm just going to get in there and rake. At least I can rake it right out. Plywood goes all the way up to the front, so lets me haul a pretty good lump at a time, and way less messing around. I did bump it a little bit. You can see she's arced quite a bit, but I'm going to let it go for this time and try to do better on the next one. One-handed action here. And yeah, I dumped it just a little, just to give me some help. It works. It's a lot better if I use 2 hands on the rake. But we're doing alright. Probably 7,000 more gator loads to go, and I'll be done in no time. Not that many. But yeah. Well, this will be the 3rd gator trip. Getting her down now. I didn't get the front of this one as full as it should have been. But, whatever. It happens. Looky there. You guys know what that's from? I think I do. Long time ago. Anyhow, I'm going to hop in there. Try to rake that corner and get that filled in. And, yeah. Moving right along. Prop my phone up just in case you guys want to see me load. Sometimes it's not real pretty, but it sure beats a shovel. I'll tell you what. Like I said, it ain't the prettiest thing you've ever watched, but I'm not breathing hard. So, a couple more gator loads and this little pile of garbage will be gone. There's a little bit of, there must have been a rug in here. Man, what a mess. There's a couple of rubbers from car windows, old bicycle rim. I've been kind of sorting some stuff out, but man, when I get into that, it just pulls strings for miles. So I'll get, next time I come back, I'll push all that pile into this pile and I'll put the gator right in here and I'll just start loading that. And when I get it close, I'll probably load all that garbage up and take it. I've got a hole I can go dump it in, and then I'll come back over here and buff all this off nice and flat so it's ready for the lawnmower again. Get the seat nice and clean. I don't worry about that one because I'm not sitting over there. All right, off we go. Well, let's see. I believe 8 gator loads so far. It's a little low right in here compared to there. That's about the level I'm going to fill it to with this kind of dirt. And then I believe the plan is to put a whole layer of horse manure down, because I've got a pretty good pile of that in the not too far away. And then we're going to do right up to the top with the top dirt out of where I'm digging my pond over there. So, oh, it's not been easy, but it hasn't been that bad. The hoist relay broke on my gator, so I can't tip it up to help me rake it out anymore. Which, yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's just a little bit more raking. But as you can see, I think I'm over the halfway point, because I'm not quite full to the back as I want to be, but I am this way beyond the halfway point. So I got one more load out of the pile I'm working in now, and then I get to move to another spot in the yard where I did some cleanup and get that stuff picked up. This is nice. The one, the first pile I did, I raked it all out, pulled my drag around on top of it, got it all level again, picked up all the sticks and other debris that was in there, and it's ready for the lawnmower. So reclaiming a couple of these spots on my property is really making me happy, along with getting this done, which I'm really on a time crunch. I want this done and filled in today so that I can run over the garden one more time, and then we can get the little tiller out, start putting our rows in, and get that planted. Tomorrow and Sunday is the day we're going to plant it. Had a frost advisory last night, had to cover all the flowers up, so I think we're right in line with where we should be here in Wisconsin. So, all right, got a little long-winded on this one, just trying to catch my breath. I am going to go drink another cup of coffee before I head back to the pile, and I will see you guys soon. Well, today is the day I should be finishing this up. I've put 3 of the 4 piles of dirt that I had in here at this point. I was working on getting the 4th pile in last night, and my wife wanted to go garage sailing for a little bit, so took off and did that, and when I came back I didn't do a dang thing. So, but it's to the point now where it's getting to the bottom of the 2x4 over there. I got a little bit more to do over here. But I think I'll probably end up raking a little bit of that stuff at that end, bringing it down this way. And I'm going to go start hauling some loads of poop at this point. I want the poop near the surface, but I don't want them all the way at the top where it's coming up through. So I think this is a good time to go get probably 3 loads, spread it out in there, nice thin layer all the way across. The little shed that I had when I had my ponies has a pretty good concentration of poop. Plus I was feeding the round bales in the same spot all winter long. And so it won't take me long at all to get a few loads loaded up. And it's over in the woods, so it should be a little shadier over there for me instead of right directly in the sun. But we're moving right along. I've got a fourth pile over there. The machine's sitting by it. I'm going to use that to get as close to the top as I can. And then it'll be over there where my pond's going to dig out a layer of topsoil to fill in whatever else I need. And I have been walking around in this as much as I can, trying to pack it down. It does have some soft spots, but for the most part, I think it's all packed in pretty well. The sides are holding up good and solid. Don't think it's ever going to go anywhere. And it still appears to be fairly level. I know this top is almost perfectly straight. This one here still bowed in a little bit, but I think as I stomp that down, I'll get it to straighten out. Otherwise, it'll eventually straighten itself out. Or when I put the top cap on, I'll make it, the top cap will be straight, so you'll hardly know that that is bowed at all. And it's on the back side, so you still can't see it from my house. Anyhow, I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna go start hauling some poop. See you after a little while. All right, we got some poop installed. Nice layer all the way across, and I kind of walked through and stomped it in as best as I could. I'm gonna get the last of my dirt piles loaded up and dumped on here. And then once I've got it full, I want it full to the top of this 2x4, and then I need it heaped up some in the middle yet, because then when I cap it with the outside perimeter board, I would like it to be level to the top of that as well. So I might need to add a little bit more dirt after I cap it, but I'm gonna prepare for it and just kind of heap it up in the center there, so that once I get it all capped, I can go ahead and rake that out. Hopefully it'll be nice and level. I can screed it off, and it'll be ready for the next step. Moving right along. So this will be it. This is the last little pile I have to load. This whole area here had a bunch of brush and debris and just stuff from over the years, that storing stuff here. And so last year I scraped it all with the Mini, and there is a lot of stuff in here in these piles I don't want in the garden, so I have been throwing that out as I rake it in. But it got this whole area cleaned up, and now where that other pile was there is no longer. And once this is gone, pretty quick here, all these things will come out of here. This is just kind of where I parked everything for the winter. I gotta get that boat ready to go back in the river and get back to doing some adventures. And my fishing boat is all ready. I actually started that the other day. So pretty quick here. I got the kayak trailer over there, a couple kayaks up on the roof of that boat, and I got room for some more kayaks, but usually we'll throw some buddies' kayaks in there and we do some kayaking trips. And my riding lawnmowers, those will be getting put back to work pretty quick here. And those other two riders, I don't know, I might end up using one to fix the other. And then that four-wheeler is my parts four-wheeler, so I'll get all these out of here and relocated to a better spot, and then I will end up dragging all of this again, and we'll get this back into being part of the yard. It wasn't mowable, it wasn't clear at all, it was all full of brush and sumac, and so I really made a difference by getting it cleaned up. And like I said, I did it last fall. Then when winter got here, I was like, you know what, I'm going to park everything over there for the winter. So it's going to be nice to have these piles out of here. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them, and I'm sure glad that I found a good use for it. And as you can see, it's decent soil. It's basically all this topsoil from in here, but there's a lot of stuff in there. You can see there's a lot of glass, there's aluminum, there's sticks, there's metal. But it was the lesser of two evils to just pile it up here and till I could figure out what to do. And now, like I said, it's going to be all nice and pretty again, which has been the whole point of everything I've been doing this last couple weeks here at home, getting my yard cleaned up. And I got a few projects here, there, and everywhere, and I'm just going to get everything piled back out of sight. So we've got a really nice yard here if it's not all cluttered up with stuff. So I'm about to fire up the Mini for the first time today, and get that stuff loaded up. Last night I started scraping and flipping. I kind of do that. I scrape it and flip it, break it up, and I'll do the same thing with that side. I'll just scrape and flip and break it all up, and it just makes it that much easier to load and that much easier to rake it out. So pretty quick here. I'd say that this is going to be more than enough to get that full. And then, like I said, I do have a little more topsoil in that new pond area that I can use for my finishing touches if this isn't enough. So I'm going to get to it, guys. One interesting thing, this gator I bought it at a government auction well over 15 years ago. And I have been beating this thing mercilessly since I got it. It has moved so much stuff over the years. We used to put it on the ATV trails till we got caught and told we're not allowed to have it on the ATV trails anymore. The Wisconsin DNR owned it, and they had a sticker on it. And so I didn't buy it to put it on the trails. I bought it to use it in the yard. But when I saw it had a sticker, I went and registered it in my name. And we got 2 years of cruising the trails. We'd strap a seat in the back. I'd put the kids in the car seat in the seat. And we would just go 11 miles an hour and tour the countryside. And we'd bring picnic with. We'd bring fishing poles with. We'd have a blast with this thing when it wasn't working in the yard or moving dirt or moving brush. And, but the motor is all but done. A few years back, I thought it actually blew up. I ran it out of oil. I got it to run again, and I only would use it for important stuff. And then that was, like I said, probably 8, 9 years ago now. However, it does smoke really bad when you're running it. And the other day I noticed it wasn't smoking. So, of course, that means it needs more oil. Well, I put oil in it, started smoking again, motor got quiet again, everything's great. But when I went into the woods to load up that poop this morning, it started running really weird, popping and firing, and when it runs out of gas, it just dies. You can pull the choke, it'll start one more time, and then it dies. You just know it's out of gas. And I put plenty of gas in it the other day, so I knew it wasn't out of gas. But it was really missing, and it would pick up and run perfect, then it would miss and sputter, and I pulled the choke, and it died immediately, which I was like, no, that's not normal. And I said, I've been beating on this thing for 15, 16 years. I know how it acts. And my first thought was, well, maybe that spark plug finally fouled out. And I don't know that I've ever put a spark plug in it before. When I first got it, I serviced it. I bought it with a broken transmission and fixed that all up and put it together, and haven't really touched it since. Some batteries, and I've had to mess with the hydraulic motor a couple times on the dump box. So yeah, I tipped it up and got in there and pulled the spark plug out, and it was packed solid. There was no space between the electrode and the inside of the threads. It was just full. I gave it a quick wire brushing, tapped it off, kind of poked around and cleaned out inside of there. Screwed it right back in again, started up, and we're running. Runs just perfect, just like it did every other time. So the one thing about it is, yeah, it smokes and it doesn't look like much, but it starts right up every time you need it to. It runs, it idles, it does everything it's supposed to do. And it doesn't leave the house very often anymore, but I used to take it, cruise the neighborhood, run through the neighbors' fields and whatnot. And I wouldn't hesitate to do it now. If it had enough gas in it, I'd take that thing to the end of the county and back. It's a fun ride at 15 or 11 miles an hour. But anyhow, I just thought a little side note for you there. I got a little delay. It was too far from the garage. Normally, if it breaks down, I'll just push it back to the garage or pull it with a four-wheeler. But no, it was way too far away to do that this time. So I had to carry some tools out to it, and boom, 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 she's back in business again. So usually I'll do the carburetor on this once a year, go through and check some stuff. I don't change oil in it anymore because I'm just steady dumping oil in it anyway. So and when that motor does break, they make one at Harbor Freight that will bolt in, but I'm not going to put one in it until it absolutely dies. So okay, a little history of my Gator. It's not even a Gator. Before they made Gators, it's an AMT 626. They made a 626, a 622, and then the 600 had a single seat and handlebars, and you sat right dead center and drove it like a big 5-wheeler. And then a couple years later, they came out with the 622 and the 626. So it's got like an 8-horse Kawasaki in it. And these things were built tough. This thing has been working. I know the DNR used it at their tree farm until somebody made the transmission explode. And I took the transmission all apart, fixed the broken stuff, sealed up the holes in the cases, put everything back in that was broke, and literally I've been running it ever since then with next to nothing major ever. Tires was the worst thing. That's why it's got car tires on it now. They were cheap. I had the tires, bolted them right on, and it still goes around real well. I did have to buy a new front tire. I went through every ATV tire I had that would fit that rim over the last few years, and finally had to break down and buy a brand new one last year. And I have a whole nother set of nice aluminum rims with good tread on them that I'm going to swap these out at some point. But if it ain't broke, don't mess with it. That's my theory. Talk to you guys soon. Getting closer all the time. Getting closer all the time. That was 2 loads to get it to there. And this side was actually deeper than this side, so yeah, probably 3-4 more loads, something like that. Well, I'm pretty sure we got enough dirt in there, and I got the top boards put on, and I was getting ready to rake it all out flat. My wife decided she wanted to paint it before we put the dirt up there, which probably isn't the worst idea in the world. So for the most part, it's straightened out pretty good. These sides are nice and straight. The front is almost perfectly straight. There's just a little bit of a dip towards the end there. This back is curved pretty good. But what I did was I bent the top board with it, so if it does straighten out, my reveal will be the same all the way around. But pretty decent for just a bunch of stuff I literally had laying around. The wood all came out of my stash spot. Tin came from all over in my stash spots. And it's going to be a nice raised garden bed. I'm going to start cleaning up this stuff here. This is all the stuff I pulled out of the dirt when we were raking it in. I'm going to work on getting the outside, this extra dirt raked in and flattened out, making it look all pretty. And probably aren't going to do too much more with it tonight. We'll let the paint dry. In the morning I'll get it raked out flat. And I've got one more idea for this before we plant it. So check back with you in the morning. Well, the paint dried way faster than I thought it was gonna, so we got a 2x4 out and got it screeded off. Looking pretty good. Still got one more thing I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna start it before I even tell you about it, because if I don't like it, you'll never know. Well, I have 3 or 4 more tiles to cut and I will be done. I got this much done and then it got dark on me last night. But this was the other thing I planned on doing to this. I used to be a tile installer. I've got quite a few old, or these are brand new, but leftover tiles in a pile. These are all the 12-inch tiles that I had, and I just threw them out randomly in that hopscotch pattern. And each one of those little 6-inch holes is where we're going to put the strawberry plants. This whole thing's going to get filled with strawberry plants. And then every one of those 12-inch tiles is a spot where we're not going to have to worry about weeds. It can be hosed off, and then as the strawberry plants grow and eventually take over the entire bed, which will be most likely next year, we'll pull all the tiles out and fill in the blank spots, maybe change it up, and get it to where, but there's about 80 holes in there now, 85 holes, and we've got 80 plants, so if we run a little short on plants, we'll go get another bag of them. but that's going to make this so much easier to keep it weed free, and it's going to work out great for this year for sure. So I've got a few more tiles to cut. She's going to start filling in the holes with strawberry plants. We'll get it watered up and see how she turns out. And now the fun part. Take the little digger deal, pop out a plug of dirt, make a hole, fill hole with strawberry plant. Woo-hoo. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. And while she finishes planting strawberries, I need to service my machine. Hasn't been greased in a few hours, it's due, and the tracks have finally stretched enough to where I need to do something about them. It'll be the first time tightening them since I got it. And you can see that one's a little looser than this one, but they both need a few cranks just to get tightened up again. Try not to over tighten them too much because I don't want to stretch them more. And then I got to hit all the grease points and get this loaded onto the trailer, as I got a call from a guy Friday, needs me to come dig a trench before tomorrow morning. So we agreed on this afternoon or this evening. I just gotta go dig like a 30-foot trench so he can get his water line in before they get the concrete form set up. So that's what I'm gonna do while she plants berries. Well, I got my machine all serviced and ready for the next round, and she is just about done planting roots. The strawberries are going in. A little bit of extra dirt in that one. Speaking of dirt, this is 16 feet long. 8 feet across, 30 inches deep. If you do the calculations on that, it's 11.85 yards. Let's just call it 12 yards. And 45-gallon buckets makes up 1 yard. And usually if I run 10 buckets of dirt through my sluice, I find about 1/10 of a gram of gold. And so there would be 480 buckets in here if you did 40 times 12. And that works out to about 4.8 grams of gold that I would have found if this was all pay dirt and I ran it all through a sluice, based on the numbers of where I'm normally digging for gold at. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So no, there was no gold in this project, but we're going to get strawberries, which is almost as good. And it won't be till next year. That's why we put all the tile down, because who wants to pick weeds for a year and not even get any benefit from it? So the tile's going to do 90% of the work on the weed control for us. And then by next year, what did she do here? Whoops, got her all messed up now. By next year, when we're ready to add some more plants, we'll just pull the tiles out and fill in the gaps where the tiles are and redo it again. We'll touch base with this one more time when we get the rest of those holes filled in. Right now it looks like we pissed off a gopher. I got the hose over here ready to go. We'll get her all rinsed down and watered, and of course I'll be doing some updates as the summer goes on, how this looks, how it works out for us. So, but thank you so much for watching this story. This is my wife's Mother's Day present, as today is Mother's Day. So took me most of the week screwing around to get it done, and I couldn't be happier with the way it turned out. It's going to be just a nice, we're still planning on doing some wings off the side. We normally have a fence around the garden that's all taken down right now, so we're going to incorporate the fence into this and do a couple of small gardens on either side of it. Maybe cut a bunch more branches off of some of these trees just to let a little bit more light in here. We get good sunshine throughout the day, but of course in the morning right now it's coming right through those trees, so you can see there's some shade. But I'll touch base with you guys in a little bit. Well, I think this is gonna sum it up for this video and this project. We've got them watered. A little bit of dirt on some of the tiles, but I'm okay with that. I will be posting some updates. I'll let you know how it does. Once again, I thank you guys so much for taking this journey with me. I can't say I really enjoyed doing this, but I'm going to really enjoy the strawberries I get from it. It was definitely a lot of work, and there's still more to do. Like I said, I got to do them side wings, but we've got a little bit of time left to get it done and get this garden straightened out, get the fence back in. Planting season usually here is between now and the end of the month, so the weather looks good enough where we can probably start banging out some seeds now. So thank you guys so much. You have a great day. See you on the next one. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, share it with your friends. Tell me what you think about the tile, if you think it's a good idea, if you think it's a bad idea. I'm definitely curious about the feedback for sure. But let me know, and I will catch you guys on the next one.